Okay.
Is it on the bottom or is that just for like?
Oh, well, no, I'm here. I mean, you can sit next to me if you want to. Right there. Right here.
Might be door prize. Question of this program is so back okay up. Stop. So.
Did you call me this morning? You back on that? Yes.
All right, it looks like we are here, and it's 9 o'clock, so I want to make sure that we're on time because we have a very long and busy day. The college search process our juniors begin in the spring. And every spring, we, the IMSA College and Academic Counselors, have the tremendous task of opening up our students' minds and hearts to the incredible diversity of college options. And every year, we implore our students to be audacious in their college search, and we tell them, as long as your four-year journey will have two ingredients, academic rigor and a sense of personal joy, you will be comfortable and confident at any college. To ensure that our college counseling message to students is powerful and persuasive, we invite a keynote speaker to start off our college day. And our keynote speaker this year is Phil Trout, the college counselor at Minnetonka High School in Minnetonka, Minnesota, and the president of the National Association for College Admission Counseling. Phil also happens to be my longtime colleague, my mentor, and my dear friend. Some of you who know me sometimes think that I'm the rock star of the college counseling. I hate to break it to you, but I'm simply a vocal backup. The true rock star is Phil when it comes to high school college counseling. Phil probably is the best known and the most recognized high school counselor in the nation among all deans of admissions. Phil's passion for students and their college admission and college success is truly exemplary. I think of myself as a passionate person, but I barely show any emotions when compared to Phil. I also can honestly say that everything I know about college counseling I learned from Phil. I learned to always put students first. Consequently, all throughout my IMSA career, I have been tireless in promoting, I'm so sorry. That never happened before. I have been tireless in promoting initiatives, services, and opportunities that help our students become knowledgeable about the world of college admissions. I learned from Phil to help our students to choose colleges with their hearts and not their minds, because no college can make a student stupid, but a college can make a student unhappy. And finally, I learned from Phil that the college admissions is not a prize to be won, but a match to be made. But before I invite Phil to the podium to speak to you, I would like to share a short story. Over 10 years ago, Phil worked at a private high school outside of Minneapolis, where he had a student by the name of Jonathan Taves. Yes, that Jonathan Taves. So when time came for Jonathan to start his college selection process, he came into Phil's office and said, "Mr. Trout, I don't think I'm going to college." To which Phil replied, "I think you're right, Jonathan." So times have changed, and now the Blackhawks have a new kid on the block called the Breadman, or Artyom Panarin. And by the way, you're supposed to say Panarin, not Panarin. And even though I can never say that I was Artyom's college counselor, I can say when the Breadman and I dream about colleges, we dream in the same language. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the college counselor at Minnetonka High School and the president of NACAC, whose most famous pupil does not have a college education, my dear friend, Phil Trout.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. so happy that you could come here today to the College Day at IMSA. I had the great opportunity in my career as a school counselor and as a college counselor to work in an institution called the Illinois Mathematics and Science Academy. I was a college and academic counselor here for 2 years with the graduating classes of 2005, 2006. That was 10 years ago. And I came here from a school in Minnesota, and I left here to go to a school in Minnesota. And so, yes, there will on occasion be some moments here this morning where you will turn to a friend or a neighbor or a family member and say, wow, listen to that accent. And yes, it's true. I'm coming here with a Minnesota accent, so just deal with it, okay? This is such an exciting day. It's just such an exciting day. It's a day of exploration. It's a day of research. It's a day of reflection. It's a day of self-assessment. It's a day of learning. It's a day of possibilities. It's a day of reckoning. It could be a reality check. It could be many things. It will help me to get a little bit of a sense for the room. If I may ask, if you are a junior, class of 2017, IMSA, may I ask, could you please stand? Okay, and parents, and they are here in the room, so let's just do a quick sneak preview. Sophomores, class of 2018, if you're here in the room, can you raise your hand? Can we find out who are the sophomores here? Okay, let's see it. Okay, you're here. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. To be fair, the comments, the messages that I scripted for today are primarily directed to the juniors, but please allow for the facts and the information to drift down so that you have it here, okay? And of course, we've got parents in the room. We do also have some college admission reps who have already arrived for the fair that starts today at 10 o'clock in the gymnasium. And they want to come in here because, because Phil Trout is here. And so, and so I'm just going to tell you here very quickly about this acronym NACAC. Okay, so it's not the world's best acronym, but so people who are high school counselors, college counselors, people who are college and university admission deans and directors and associate deans and assistant deans and also some people who are academic advisors at two-year colleges with the specific responsibility of helping with the transfer from two-year to four-year, and people who are vice presidents for admission, and people who are deans of admission and financial aid. So our professional association, our organization that we choose to belong in for our own professional development is called the National Association for College Admission Counseling. So it's about 16,000 members. NACAC has its office headquarters in Arlington, Virginia. There's an elected board of directors that does the work of NACAC, and I sit on that board and am currently serving in my year as president of NACAC. Several years ago, I mentioned to Yulia, at a time when I was finishing my presidential cycle for Minnesota Association for College Admission Counseling. And yes, by the way, there is also this thing called Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling. That's the organization that sponsors that National College Fair every fall that's held downtown, usually at Navy Pier. Okay, all right. But when I was going through my presidential cycle with Minnesota ACAC, I mentioned to Yulia that I had some ambitions to perhaps run for national office. And that wouldn't it be cool if I had the opportunity to serve on the board for NACAC? And she said right away, if that happens, we would like to invite you to come to the College Day program and be the keynote speaker. Well, it happened, and here I am. Okay. I've been doing college counseling for 32 years at 4 different schools. So to be given the task of trying to speak for 30 minutes, no more, to offer some words of advice and to provide some words of inspiration before we go into a college fair, I will share with you, it's a little bit of a daunting task. My feelings for IMSA are very strong and very positive. Two things I learned during my 2 years at IMSA stay with me today. Number one, students, oh my God, you are so lucky. You are so lucky to have the opportunity to study with these teachers. You are so lucky. And I hope that you are having positive experiences as students here at IMSA, because the institution as a school community has positioned itself nicely to provide you with rich, rigorous academic learning opportunities as you prepare for your post-secondary careers. But I must share with you number two that I learned while I was here. When you stand in the shadow of greatness, as many of you do, because you have classmates here that are extraordinary, and when you stand in the shadow of the greatness, it turns out some of that greatness rubs off, rubs onto you, nearby. Probably because they have such fondness for a parent. I don't know what that says about IMSA. And let me just share with you this statistic that was released only 2 weeks ago. It's a powerful statistic. This is the data now from 2014. People who graduated from college in 2014. Okay? For those students who went to college and borrowed money, took out a student loan. For those students who actually have student loan indebtedness. For those students who graduated from college in 2014, their average student loan indebtedness is $34,000. Again, the statistic here is just for people who graduated from college with student loans. On average, they're graduating with student loan indebtedness of $34,000. Now, let's do the math. We can do that here at IMSA, right? Okay, all right, okay. Let's do the math. So, quick down and dirty, it very likely means that that student's monthly payment, when it comes time for them to begin repaying their student loans, is going to be about $360 a month for 10 years. Parents in the room, I too am a parent. My wife and I have 2 daughters, both of them college graduates. No, wait, both of them with jobs. Parents, we play a significant role in this conversation. It's not my job to tell you how to parent. And please don't let me do that or even think that I'm trying to do that. But I want you to know, I actually happen to believe that student loan indebtedness is a good thing. I think it's a positive. I think it helps when the student knows that they have some responsibility here. I think the phrase is skin in the game, okay? But so I'm a big fan of students having some kind of student loan as part of the family's decision on how to pay for college. But I must tell you, I don't see how a student graduates from college and starts a job, particularly those people who want to go into education. I don't know how they start a job with $34,000 worth of indebtedness. And this is the average. If it's the average, oh my God, what's the spread? Now, I'm talking about money and cost of attendance and student loan indebtedness here right at the front end, because honest to God, I think that this is a compelling part of the college search process that too many students and too many families just kind of put off to the side and say, well, we'll get to that. And I think it needs to be front and center. I mean, you all are going to have an opportunity here this morning to go over into the gymnasium and walk up and down the aisles, and there's going to be some colleges and universities there that you might be able to attend at a cost per year of $10,000, and there's some colleges there that you might be able to attend with a cost per year of $50,000, and there's a couple of colleges here that you might be able to attend with a cost per year of $70,000 a year. So I think it's probably worthwhile to talk about money here early on in the session. And I know my charge is to be inspirational, okay? And so I don't mean to come in here and be a downer, okay? But I just want you to know, students, families, in the junior year, yeah, actually this is, I think, probably the perfect time for you to talk about money, for you to talk about cost, for you to talk about affordability, for you to talk about student loan indebtedness, for you to talk about skin in the game. And the reason why I think this is the perfect time for you to do this is because none of you have applied. You haven't yet set your heart on a particular school. There's still maybe some room for flexibility. Now, the federal government this year is doing something extraordinary that will completely change the financial aid process in terms of its calendar. You may have been reading about it. The phrase that was first used at the announcement was PPY, prior year. I'm going to give you just a very quick lesson. Students, just bear with me. I'm going to get to you, okay? I mean, I know it might sound like I'm just going heavy on parents, okay? But so for those parents in the room who already have a child, a firstborn or something who's in college or university, and you have filled out a financial aid form, the Fafsa, the free application for federal student aid. So this winter, our current seniors, they and their families, filling out a Fafsa, they used their 2015 federal tax information to complete the Fafsa. In other words, they used their income and assets from a prior year. The federal government now has changed the policy. And beginning this fall, you class of 2017, God, you're special. Beginning this fall, the FAFSA will be filled out using the financial numbers from the prior year. So for those students who are going to be going off to college in the fall of 2017, who are applying for need-based financial aid, filling out a FAFSA, they will fill out that FAFSA using their federal income return information from 2015. Well, guess what? Here on Saturday, April 23rd, you've all already done it. You did your 2015s. You now already know what your financial data is going to be at the time you're applying for financial aid for your child to go to college in 2017. Parents, you can this weekend sit down and go to fafsa.gov, and you can click on the website now. Right on the home page, there's the item called Fafsa Forecaster. You can sit down because you have your 2015s. You can go through it and see what your expected family contribution is. Parents, by the way, if this is the first time you're doing this, do not have any children in the room when you push the send button. You get your EFC right away, and it is a figure that will cause you to shout. So I think that's part of the research, okay? Oh, by the way, I brought with me a fact sheet on prior year. During the college fair, I have a table. It's off to the side, right near University of Illinois, right next to UIUC. Okay, so put me in an area where there wouldn't be any traffic. Okay. And you're welcome to stop by. Okay. Here's one more item I want to share with you, just a piece of research from the national landscape. So there's this wonderful longitudinal study that UCLA has been housing that asks questions of entering first-year students in college and university, and the statistics always come out in the fall. So this annual study by the researchers at UCLA now lists that the number one reason why students go to college is to get a better job. That's the number one reason. Only 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the number one reason cited by students was learning about things that interest them. Gosh, I wish we were still at 6 years ago. Isn't that what college should be about? It should be about learning about things that interest them. Most high school students have no idea at all what sort of job they want. You class of 2017, to be honest, that's not your assignment. That's not your responsibility. You don't have to go into this college fair today being prepared to answer the question, what do you want to do? What do you hope to become? What you do have to do is you have to be open to the concept that what you'd like to do is you'd like to go to college. So now let's talk about that. Okay. I've been a college counselor now for 32 years, and I have learned that the most important thing I can say to a student is the following sentence. You apply for admission to a college because you would like to go there. Now, this is perhaps a complex thought, so allow me, please, just to restate it. You apply for admission to a college because you would like to go there. It's catchy, right? It's working on you, okay? Parents, if you've noticed, stuff comes in the mail. Parents, if you've noticed, you actually take the time to look at some of it. Parents, if you've noticed, students, yeah, not so much. At my high school, Minnetonka High School, home of the Skippers, we have we have a senior class this year of 711. I love that. It's so easy to remember. It's not without irony because we don't have 7-Elevens in Minnesota, okay? But we have almost 300 students who applied for admission to the University of Minnesota. Go Gophers. And every year, in March, in February, in April, as I'm meeting with a senior or as I'm talking to a senior out in the hallways of life, and I congratulate them on their acceptance to the University of Minnesota, it never fails. 1 out of 4 of them will turn to me and say, oh, I would never go there. Roll their eyes and all that sort of anguish. And I'm just stunned. I mean, what was that all about? And I'm going to call out a few here in the room here right now, okay, because I worked at IMSA. I know the drill. You're all good Illini. And there are students who attend this school who are going to apply to the University of Illinois, and they have no interest in going there. And some of them are going to blame a parent. Oh, by the way, it'll be the mother, you know. It'll be, my mother made me do it, okay. So. Parents, I will tell you this, okay, here we are, end of April, Shakespeare's birthday. As you work your way through this college search process with a child, with somebody in the class of 2017, your easy question that you just keep ready to use at any time, is this one. Tell me again the 3 reasons why you'd like to go there. Tell me again why it is you'd like to go there. Because the minute that you hear your child say something like, well, I don't want to go there. I mean, I want to get in. I want to get in. I want to be in. You know, and now that Iowa State opens up their application on July 1 and starts sending out acceptance letters on July 2, I'm not making that up, okay? I mean, there are students who will purposefully apply to Iowa State on July 1 because they can then go to a 4th of July party and they're in. And believe you me, parents, when you're there on the pontoon on a 4th of July and the Larsons next to you are talking about how their child's already been admitted to college, then you start racking your brain with guilt about how far behind you are. Okay, all right. I mean, it turns out that the college search process is not about getting in. It's not. It's about going. Students, what will it be like for you to be there? If you're going to go to the University of Minnesota, it means that you're going to be living in Minneapolis. You're going to be in a major city that you can fly to or that you can take the megabus to, or that's going to have traffic. It has light rail that goes through the campus. And it has a football team that's so bad the tickets are available. And that would be as opposed to the students here in the room who are thinking about going to UW-Madison, or whose parent is encouraging them to go to UW-Madison so they can get a ticket to Camp Randall. The college search process is not about getting in. It's about going. Parents, the question you want to consistently ask of your child is, tell me again why it is you want to go there. Students, the thing you want to focus in on is, what is it going to be like for you to be there? If you're going to go to Northeastern University, it's not because you want to be in Boston, although it turns out you will be. It's because you want to be at a university that has fully embraced the concept of cooperative learning, co-ops, so that your 4-year degree is going to, with purpose, take 5 years, because you're going to have some semesters where you're not going to be in class. You're going to be doing a co-op. Students. In my 32 years of college counseling, I have come to learn that here is the most important thing I could say to you today. Those of you with smartphones who want to turn it to record, push the button now. College and university admission directors tell us again and again. They tell us with consistency the message has not changed. The single most important thing in your college application file is your transcript. Nothing could be more important. Juniors, sorry, I didn't get to you until April, okay, but juniors, and oh, by the way, in your high school record of achievement, the single most important year, yeah, it's this one. Your junior year, because it's your junior year that is recorded fully on the transcript. All the courses you took, all the grades you earned, it's right there. Most of you are going to be doing your applications to college in September, October, November. Well, except for a couple of you who are applying to Iowa State, July 1. Okay. And so as college and universities sit down to begin the review of what it was like for you as a student, they're going to go to grade 11. Because grade 11 is the most recent complete full year. And they're going to read grade 11 line by line. And then they're going to stand back and they're going to do a little analysis. They're going to take a look at grade 10. They're going to be interested to see, how did grade 11 build upon grade 10? Then there's the thing about IMSA. They're going to have to figure out where did the student do grade 9? And then a few of you, where is grade 9? And yes, they're going to be interested in finding out what it is that you've chosen to take in grade 12. They are. They're going to get that information on your application, on the application. They're going to look to see, and how does grade 12 present some culminating experiences for this student? But the grades that they're going to focus in on came from grade 11. Sophomores in the room, aren't you glad you came? I hope this is trickle-down information for you. And I will share with you, I think that one of your assignments, juniors, as you do your investigation of colleges and universities, particularly juniors here at IMSA, where you've been afforded the opportunity, where you've been presented with the opportunity to be able to take on rigor, to be able to address your academic strengths, is how do you wish to build upon that in college? What's the level of rigor that's going to be appropriate and exciting and interesting and compelling to you? I think that's an important component for you as part of your college search. Yes, of course, we want you to be happy. We do. Parents, we all. I mean, it's one of the things that's common thread. We want you to be happy. And your happiness can sometimes be purposefully addressed based on the rigor you've taken on. I think that's one of the reasons why there are so many students at IMSA who look at universities specifically with an eye toward being admitted to the honors program, to the honors college. So the student at IMSA is not just going to go to Arizona State. No. They're going to go to Barrett Honors at Iowa State. They're not necessarily going to just go to Michigan State. They're going to go to the honors college at Michigan State. And the common thread there at Arizona State, Michigan State, is that the honors programs come with honors housing. And that it's Oxfordian because there are professors that live in. Okay? I mean, some students out there are sort of freaked out about that. You know, just saying, whoa, wait a minute. Are you telling me at 8:30 at night my econ professor is walking down the hall? I'm in a bathrobe. Okay? Yeah, I'm telling you that. Okay? And so for some students, that becomes the compelling draw. Once again, the question, well, why is it that you want to go there? Okay? I'm not sure I've actually ever had a student say to me, oh, I want to go to a college where I can walk down the hall at 8:30 at night in my bathrobe and see my econ professor. Okay, but in her introductory remarks today, earlier, Yulia used the comment about match, not prize. That college is a match to be made, not a prize to be won. It's actually not my phrase. It's a phrase of a gentleman named Frank Sachs, who's the director of college counseling at the Blake School in Minneapolis. But what I think is so compelling about that message is that students should be looking for the fit. Students should be looking for the places that would be good matches for them. One of the things I try to guard against is the student who comes to my office and says, oh my God, Mr. Trout, I found the perfect college. Oh, my heart just sinks. I mean, I want to be happy for the student. But the challenge with the student who thinks that they have to find the perfect college is, what if you go there and you get kind of a dirt bag for a roommate? You know? It might be a wonderful college until it's time for you to go to your room. So I don't want students in the junior year to feel pressure that the assignment before them is to find the perfect college. That is not the assignment. The assignment is to find colleges that would be a good match or that would be a good fit. Colleges where they can picture themselves there, where they've already been able to figure out what it will be like to be there. Okay, let me give you two very specific advices. It comes with phrases in our world of college admissions, etc. The one is this phrase, gaining popularity and use and importance and value, and it's the phrase demonstrated interest. So yes, of course, there are highly selective colleges and universities that have so many applicants that they don't even know what to do. And so many applicants where, to be honest, the students all have really great records of achievement and know how to spell Diffie Q and all that sort of stuff. So how do they judge? How do they tell? How do they decide? How do they select? And in some instances, they build in a filter to measure demonstrated interest. What has been the connection between this student and our university? If we came to this student's high school to do a college fair, did they come to our table? Did we see them? Have they ever come to our campus to visit? Okay. And for the most part, colleges and universities that are now making use of demonstrated interest as part of their admissions review process are forthcoming. They'll tell you. They'll let you know. Where I think it plays a role in this college search process for some students is there is no more compelling way for you to demonstrate interest in a college than to apply. And furthermore, there is no more compelling way for you to demonstrate interest than to apply early. So students, if you're looking at colleges and universities that have an application option that is early, take a look at that. See whether that makes sense for you. Let's do the vocab lesson. There's a difference between early decision and early action. Early decision is binding. It will require you as an applicant to sign the binding agreement form, which says, this is my first choice college. If admitted, I will enroll. That's not the same thing as early action. Early action is an earlier deadline, but you still get to have until May 1. You get to consider all your options. Okay. I'm not telling you that you have to do early. I'm just suggesting as you look at your college and university list, pay particular attention to see which colleges and universities have an early application option, and does it make sense for you? Is it right? The thing is, in the world of highly selective admission, okay, colleges and universities are businesses. Their job in selecting the class of this year, this class of 2020, that's what this high school graduating class this year, 2016, gets to go off to college and be 2020. Highly selective college and university admission means preferential admission, preferential treatment. Some students they're going to want more than others. Let me tell you this. The college or university that has an orchestra and the oboist is a senior, I'm going to guarantee you that college has a need. The number one soccer goalie is a senior. That college has a need. Admission offices make admissions decisions for business reasons. For them, it's not personal. For you as the student, oh my God, nothing could be more personal. Nothing. But for the college admission offices, it's a business decision. Okay, I know there are some sophomores in the room, so I'm just going to give you this quick word of advice. When it's time for you to go out and tour, to go visit a college, if you're on your way to go see 2 colleges on the tour, go to the smaller one first. Tour smaller before bigger. And the reason is that when you tour smaller first, it doesn't seem so small. You go to IMSA. I mean, come on. How small can it be? Every college is big. Okay, all right? But if you go to the big one first, and then it's time for you to go see the small, it makes the small one look smaller. Okay? Okay, lastly. And then we'll go to questions so that I can, once again, be inspiring. I'm going to go back to that statistic I shared with you earlier about 82% of the students who go to college in their home state. And I'm going to go back to that sentence that I spoke earlier about how those of you who are students here at IMSA, you are so lucky. It has been the case that part of your luck also was being in the state of Illinois with the colleges and universities that you have here in this state, because you have some extraordinarily good colleges in this state. You are so lucky. I think that your college and academic counselors, and oh, by the way, you have some really great college counseling access here at this school. Wow. They are going to encourage you to dream big. They are going to encourage you to take a chance. I respect that. But here's why. You already did that. You're here. You made the choice to go to IMSA. You took a chance. It's easier for you to take a chance when you've already taken a chance. So I encourage you to dream big. And I want you to do that as you have the wisdom to keep an eye on cost. It's an honor for me to be here with you, and I'm so excited to be a part of the college fair that starts at 10. We have 15 minutes for some questions and answers. I'm happy to assist you in a way that I can. I also have a table during the college fair, and you're welcome to come by and see me. Parents, by the way, I will just give a quick plug. My travels here to Illinois included some time on a flight where I started reading a brand new book, came out 2 weeks ago, by one of my favorite writers about higher education, Jeff Selingo. His new book is called There Is Life After College. The subtitle is What Parents and Students Should Know About Navigating School to Prepare for the Jobs of Tomorrow. I'm a third of the way through, but gosh, is it good. Really good. And I can highly recommend it. And those of you who need to do a screenshot, just come by my table during the session and we'll give it to you. Let's open the floor to questions, and I'll say thank you so very much for being given this opportunity. Let's see if I can see anybody, okay? Here's the hard one, first hand, okay? Way in the corner here, sir. Okay, the question is, going back to some of those statistics that I gave, and in particular that very first one about, for those students who go off to a 4-year public university, the number of students who earn their undergraduate bachelor's degree in 4 years at public universities is 33%, and the question is, why is that? Okay, and I'm going to read into your question that you perhaps think it should be higher. Okay, all right. And this stat is from public universities in America. You know, America is a country that believes that choices is a good thing. Options is a good thing. Okay? And we have a lot of options. Thousands. We have thousands of options. I think where the statistic gives us an insight is that we've got young people who are going off to college or university and they don't know why. Or they don't know what they're getting into. And then how about this? Turns out we have some students in America who actually are pretty good students in high school, never did any work. Like before they came to IMSA. Okay. I mean, this is stereotypical for me to say, but college is hard. It's hard. And not everyone going is prepared to step up. talk to college and university administrators, they will tell you that the number one area for them in terms of personnel growth over the last decade is in student support services. Academic support, academic advising, writing support. Part of the growth in the curriculum is in remedial education. Trying to teach coursework that the student should have had in high school, didn't. Should have mastered in high school, didn't. Okay, I mean, again, we're in a special situation here being at IMSA. So the statistic catches us off guard. Okay, but the national landscape, that's not so. Okay, questions? Yes, ma'am. Okay, yes. Yes, and so just a reminder again about so what is that statistic at private colleges and universities, okay? And again, we have the statistic based on 6 years, okay? In the 6-year window, the people who go to private colleges and universities, 65% of them graduate, get their 4-year bachelor's degree, okay? Sir.
What advice would you have for how a student should determine whether a college is a good fit?
Yeah. Okay, the question is, how could I advise a student to help that student determine whether a college is a good fit? That's a really great question, isn't it? Students are going to have their own particular interests and their own particular talents. There are things that are much more important, much more compelling to them than others. Can you as a parent help your child figure that part out? What is it that matters the most to them? So for example, how about the IMSA student who wants to be able to go to a public flagship university to prepare for eventual admission into a grad school? And they think they have to go to that big public university for undergrad because that's the place they're hoping to go to for grad school. But you aren't going to grad school. You're going to college. You don't necessarily have to pick the same place to go to for undergrad. Okay? So I think that if you can just get them to be able to talk out loud about what it's going to be like for them to be there and what it is that they're really looking forward to doing there, that will allow them to see the fit. If it can happen, really, nothing is so empowering as a campus visit. Time at the university. Walking around and seeing the place. You know, I've been a college counselor for over 30 years, and our 2 daughters are not that old. And so when we went on college visits with a daughter, okay, I was never allowed to speak. I mean, they would say to me, "Oh, Dad, please, oh, God, don't open your mouth." And so what happened was, I like to travel with the half sheets. So when we would finish a visit to a college and we'd get back in the car, etc., I was not allowed to do anything, say anything, nothing, until they had written 1 page of notes. Okay, just not a big assignment, right? Okay. We still have the sheet from our younger daughter where it says, "I will never attend this college. I will never attend this college. I will never attend this college." I'm looking in the rearview mirror. I'm seeing her. She's writing. I'm saying, "Oh, good. She knew I loved it. She knew I loved that school." Parents, I'm going to tell you, you finish a campus visit, you get in the car, you turn to the child, and you say, "Wow, what'd you think?" Parents, I'm sorry, but you can't do that. You have to let them go first. And yes, it's true. We also have a daughter who came to me 11 minutes into the tour of a very fine university and said to me, Dad, we can go. And I said, well, we can't go. We just started the tour. Yeah, we can go. I'm done here. And I said, well, you can't be done here. I made arrangements for you to be interviewed by the dean. And she said, yeah, he's your friend. You go interview with him. So try to see whether or not you can get the child to go first. Okay, sir.
You mentioned colleges looking at the transcripts. Do you get the sense that colleges know enough about IMSA to recognize the transcript from IMSA as opposed to a transcript from another school?
Okay, all right. So the question is the comment that I made about how the transcript is the single most important thing in the application folder, and would colleges and universities have taken the time to learn, well, what is IMSA? And are they able to go through and accurately read a transcript from IMSA? You know, the thing is, there's 4,000 colleges and universities in America, and so of course I have to tell you, you know what, I think there's some colleges that don't know IMSA. I think there are, okay. But I'll tell you this, there are some colleges and universities that know a lot about IMSA. A lot. Many of them are here today at the fair. Many of them are colleges and universities that have been receiving applications from IMSA students and enrolling IMSA students for a long time. And here's the other part. Again, that word of praise that I offered for the College and Academic Counseling department at IMSA, it's a connected department. They are doing a fabulous job in outreach, in communication. The profile that IMSA has that gets sent with the transcript to every college or university is a fantastic document. Parents, if you've never looked at the profile, just go online to IMSA and click on the College and Academic Counseling webpage. You'll be able to pull it right up. Okay. So, yeah, I have no hesitations at all about whether or not places are in the know about what the IMSA experience is like and how to read the IMSA transcript. Okay. Question way in the back.
Let's say a student had straight A's in ninth grade every year before that. And then when they came here, the grades weren't that great sophomore year, but then they show grade improvement in 11th grade. Does that make a big difference?
Okay, all right. So the question is, purely hypothetical, but it's a But the question was, so what about that student who, like back in grade 9, grade 8, with straight A's, and then they came to IMSA, and well, kind of like maybe not the same level of academic achievement in grade 10, but in grade 11, this is a student who was on the up. And my comments to you earlier about grade 11, okay, colleges and universities love to see a student on the up. They love it. Okay, and sophomores, I don't mean to suggest you should dip now, so that you can pick it up in grade 11. Okay, but that was not my point. Okay, the thing is, again, if this purely hypothetical student chooses to apply for admission to a college or university that has an essay, it's very likely that that student is going to tell their tale. That once upon a time, I was right there at the top. And then my parents made me come to IMSA. And let me tell you what's happened to me, what I've done, how I've grown since. Students, the college admissions process gives you an opportunity for those institutions that have an essay or two. The college admissions process gives you an opportunity to be able to talk about what's important to you, what matters to you, what's significant about you. And by the way, that can include some bragging. It can. And many of you have things to brag about. And I will just tell you, if you have things to brag about, don't hold back. Because again, when we go to that world of the highly selective admissions review process, you know what? I mean, no disrespect. It's not going to be your test score. You know, if I'm working in the college admissions office now at the University of Chicago and I'm reading the application folder and this student has a 34 on the ACT, my response is not to say, oh, wow, 34. My response is to say, average. Because it is. So what I'm looking for is, what is it about this student that would be a dynamic addition to our entering freshman class? Okay? We have time for one more. Okay, so the question was, what about the importance of co-ops in higher education? Okay, so truth be told, I'm somewhat opinionated, and I just absolutely love co-op education. So I happen to think that a place like Northeastern is fantastic. Okay. Now, yes, I know they're at today's college fair, so I probably now just doubled the number of people who are going to go to the table for Northeastern. Okay, and I don't wish to say that at the expense of University of Chicago. They're here at the fair too. Please go to their table. You know, say something like, "Oh, I was listening to Mr. Trout. He said, you know, I should come here." Okay. Yes. You know what? Jeff Salingo is a huge fan of cooperative education because it allows the student to be stepping away from the classroom for a semester into the real world in terms of professional development, personal development, on-the-job training. That's a dynamic that really is very compelling. Okay, so I would want to be the biggest fan. Okay. You have been so great. I'm going to stop right there so that we are able to go. Okay,
Well, thank you, Phil. And now we welcome everybody to join us at the college fair, which is going to be in the gym. And due to the construction, we can only use the doors on my left to exit. So there will be no exiting through the doors on my right. So we'll see you all at the fair.